Hi everyone, welcome to Movie World. I'm Robert Waldman. Hope everybody is doing good on a beautiful West Coast day. Today, I've got a wonderful movie, especially if you're young. You may not have seen this movie because it came out way back in 1963. Now, I don't want to get on my high horse, but I will tell you something. There is something to be said about old movies because some movies that were made a long time ago are still relevant, they're still entertaining, and you know what? Sometimes old is good. Sometimes old is even better than what happens today. A case in point, a brilliant movie from 1963. One of the best movies ever, especially if you like suspense and danger. The movie, The Birds. Sounds like a nonsensical title, sounds rather ordinary, but there's nothing ordinary about this movie. After all, it comes from the master of suspense director, none other than Alfred Hitchcock. A few years earlier, I guess back in 1960, he gave us a little small movie called Psycho. That was a movie that made it very careful and cautious every time you stepped into a shower. That was at the Bates Hotel. Remember that movie? Well, you might even say that Hitchcock outdoes himself with The Birds. Again, made in 1963. The story seems rather mundane. It's all about a woman who is visiting a pet store, buys a couple of birds, and she decides she wants to send them to a newfound friend, a fellow named Mitch Brenner. Now, the lady in the place is played nicely by Tippi Hedren, who become a favorite actor in Alfred Hitchcock's stable. The man, Mitch Brenner, he's a lawyer. He's based in San Francisco, but he happens to have a country home out at Bodega Bay. That's a beautiful resort-like area that's off of the Pacific Highway. Beautiful highway, great ride and great drive if you want to head out to California once the COVID restrictions are naturally lifted, probably next year in 2021. I digress. So this woman, who's a bit of a socialite, she decides to follow this guy for certain reasons, which you're going to have to watch the movie to understand. So she goes to Bodega Bay, finds out where Mitch lives, learns that he lives with his young sister and his elderly mother, played wonderfully well by Jessica Tandy. Now, many of you may remember, if you like watching quality movies, Jessica Tandy was the rich Jewish woman who was in the star of Driving Miss Daisy. That had Morgan Freeman as a chauffeur. Wonderful movie. This movie, however, is all about birds. You see, for some unknown reason, birds begin to follow this woman, and all sorts of havoc ensues in this town because the birds, they start attacking the town people, even the children. So this is horror at its finest. Rod Taylor is very good as a stand-up guy, a wonderful son to his mother, maybe a little bit too close to his mother, who maybe falls for this rich socialite. But there's danger because those birds, they never let up. They're relentless. And the way Hitchcock masterfully builds the suspense, first you see one bird, then two, then three, then four, and before you know it, the town is overrun with birds as panic sets in. And who can remember, or forget I should say, those panicky little children as they leave the schoolhouse, fleeing towards the town with birds in tow, swooping down and attacking. It's horrific, it's dangerous, it's exciting. Is it realistic? Well, you be the judge, because this movie was made in 1963, and that was a time when there weren't such great special effects. There weren't computer-generated effects, CGI. This was all done for real. They were actually trainers who trained the birds, and I gotta tell you, it's pretty scary. A little bit of blood, and really, panic setting in. I got freaked out by watching this movie again, and so did my wife. It's a scary movie, but it's extremely well done and brilliant. And Alfred Hitchcock would become one of the best directors of all time. On a scale of 1 to 10, I have to give The Birds, which is full of high, heart-pumping suspense and tension, I gotta give it a 9. Great movie, great horror, great suspense, a great time at the movies. Robert Waldman for Movie World. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon.